We begin this hour with dramatic breaking news. The president, in his own voice, trying to convince Bob Woodward, and perhaps himself, that he handled the coronavirus pandemic perfectly.
Nothing more could have been done. Nothing more could have been done.
Well,
I acted early.
We'll
acted early.
That is 1 month ago, August 14th. The president, in a final call to the legendary Washington Post correspondent, trying one last time to shape a book that by then was already at the publisher and in production. A book that uses the president's own words to frame a damning verdict on his pandemic mismanagement and deceit. August 14th was the 19th interview between the president and Woodward. 18 of those conversations are sprinkled throughout the book, Rage, which is due out this week. The 19th came during the summer coronavirus surge. American COVID deaths averaging 1,000 or more a day. America's parents facing the stress and confusion of back-to-school questions. Millions still out of work. And yet the president wanted Woodward to see this as a smashing success. CNN special correspondent Jamie Gangel is back with more exclusive details and audio clips. Jamie, in sports terminology, we would call this trying to work the refs. One last call to Woodward to say, hey, Bob, it's a good thing, not a bad thing.
Right. And in Donald Trump's world, the world of real estate, it's known as selling. So he calls him one last time. Just for context, on August 14th, more than 168,000 Americans have died. But that's not what the president is thinking about. He knows the book is done. He knows it's coming out in September. And he calls Woodward because he wants to find out how he's portrayed in the book. And during this conversation, you'll see he keeps talking about the stock market, but Woodward begins by telling him bluntly, the book is tough.
It's a tough book, sir, and you have your say, and there's going to be a lot of controversy about it. I expect the whole business with the COVID and dealing with that is laid out, and so it's close to the bone, and you helped me get there, and I appreciate that.
All right. Well, we've done better than most countries with COVID. You're starting to see that.
I mean, there are parts of the book you're not going to like, and
what won't I like, Bob?
Well, just there is. It's tough times. The virus, as you repeatedly told me, and as you've said publicly, it's derailed things, and it's a big reality in people's lives, as you know. So I will get it to you, and
the market's coming back very strong. You do know that.
Yes, of course, and
Did you cover that in the book?
Yeah, oh, sure.
The market is coming back. But listen to this next exchange, because Trump is not giving up. He keeps talking about the stock market. We're now 6-7 months into the virus, but Woodward keeps pressing him that the important thing is the virus.
It's going to be a contest between you and Biden. It's going to be a contest between both of you and the virus. The virus is set because it's in real people's lives. All those tens of millions of people who don't have jobs, who don't have that income. Listen, I mean, you and I.
Nothing more could have been done. Nothing more could have been done.
Well,
I acted early.
We'll
acted early.
This will be the history that we start the first draft of, and it will continue. And
so you think the virus totally supersedes the economy?
Oh, sure, but they're related, as you know.
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, little bit. I mean,
more than a little bit, but the economy is doing. Look, we're close to a new stock market record.
He still doesn't get it. Just to repeat Trump's words, nothing more could have been done. I started early. We know that's not true. And we know right up until last night at the rally, he had an indoor rally, no social distancing. people not wearing masks.
But this is a theme throughout the book, and it's a pattern for the president. Number one, it's striking that he listens so much. The president often jumps into conversations. He's listening to Woodward because he's trying to figure out how bad for me is this. You can just the silence. You can hear the silence, if you will. But this point, he focuses on the stock market. You're right. 1,000 Americans were dying a day then. The case count was going up. You're into the back-to-school pressures. He focuses on this one thing, the stock market. Millions of small businesses are going out of business. The PPP money is running out. Obsession with the stock market, obsession with I've done well.
Correct. And as you go through the Woodward book, what you see is an ongoing pattern. So it wasn't just in February and March that he was privately saying to Woodward that it was terrible and playing it down publicly. We went back through the book, and there is a pattern that continues. The president is telling Woodward one thing, and he's telling the public another. April 5th, Trump to Woodward. It's a horrible thing. It's unbelievable. Can you believe it? It moves rapidly and viciously. If you're the wrong person and if it gets you, your life is pretty much over. If you're in the wrong group, it's our age group. And again, a week later, Trump to Woodward on April 13th. It's so easily transmissible you wouldn't even believe it. I was in the White House a couple of days ago, meeting of 10 people in the Oval Office, and a guy sneezed. Innocently, not horrible, just a sneeze. The entire room bailed out, okay? Including me, by the way. So the president, I mean, this is a very human moment. How many of us over the past 6 months have thought about, I don't want to be around someone who sneezes or coughs? The president in April is worried himself about the coronavirus, but publicly, just to remind you, I want to play 3 pieces of sound. I believe this is April, May, June. He's saying the opposite to the public.
It's going to go away. This is going to go away.
Eventually, it's going to be gone. It's going to be gone. It's going away.
Obviously, it's not gone away, John. And I think it's important. August 14th, that last call, that was a month ago. Look at what's happening today. Look at the fact he's still mocking masks, the indoor rally, still trying to pressure to move quickly on the vaccine. What happened last night was dangerous and reckless. And as Woodward says in the book, we're seeing a continued failure of leadership.
Well, it's a continuation of the deceit, if you will. Telling
Absolutely.
Bob Woodward as far back as February, airborne transmission, this is dangerous, it's deadly stuff. China's not on top of it. Completely the opposite of what he was telling the American people at that time. And you're right, the rally last night is a continued part of the all is well, all is good, I was perfect. And we see more of it. I want to go back through some of this relationship. It's fascinating because I want to go back. We have some calendar graphics to show you here. 19 interviews. Right. It starts in December, 74 minutes, 88 minutes, 70 minutes. Woodward at this point thinks he's writing a book about Donald Trump, gets out of impeachment, heading into re-election year. He's mad at Team Mueller. He's mad at the Democrats. He's trying to exact revenge as he goes into his re-election year. Then we switch into the new year, 2020. January, we still don't know much about the virus. Trump initiated those first 3 calls in January. You see 25 minutes, 36 minutes, 17 minutes. Then into February. In February 7th is where Bob Woodward starts to hear from the president. It's about the virus. It's bad. And then you just see they go through April, 25 minutes, 35 minutes, 14 minutes, May, 13 minutes. You go into June, 11 minutes, 16 minutes, 47 minutes, 17 minutes, 29 minutes, and then the last call, 10 minutes, the one we just heard pieces of a month ago. 7 of these 19 calls initiated by the President of the United States, who is trying to make the case, once he learned how bad this book was, that they were short conversations and that Woodward was stalking him. Quite different. 7 of 19 of these calls instigated by the President, who's trying to talk to Woodward, trying to write Woodward's book for him.
Correct. And just to be clear, the White House has said that Woodward had his personal cell. The implication that he was the one calling the president all the time. 7 calls were Trump to Woodward. Especially you see a pattern at the beginning and then at the end. And these calls were unexpected. They were sometimes late at night. I am guessing they were from the residence and that the White House does not know what's in these audio tapes and what else is out there.